Hi, I'm Dom. Today we launched a research preview of Codex, a remote coding agent that can independently navigate your code base, answer questions, make code changes, and suggest PRs for you. Let me show you how you can get started with Codex. You might have seen Codex CLI, which runs in your terminal, but this version of Codex runs in the cloud and can be accessed via ChatGPT. The first time you visit Codex, you will have to connect Codex to your GitHub account. This way, Codex can access your existing repositories. Once you're connected to GitHub, you can create your first environment. Codex can work on several tasks at the same time, entirely in the cloud and away from your computer. It does this by spinning up its own container environment tied to your repository. And in my case, I'm going to choose my agents fork of the agents Python SDK. Now that your first environment is set up, we can start sending tasks to Codex. We can see here that Codex is already suggesting a couple of different tasks that we can send to the agent. These tasks can either be questions about the repository using the ask feature. In this case, the agent will focus on answering only the question based on the current state of the repository, or we can give it coding tasks where the model will set up a full environment so that it can validate its stats. Let's just fire up all three of these and see how it goes. The powerful part of Codex is that we're not limited to just one running task. So in this case, Codex is working on all three tasks at the same time, and that means you can focus on the priorities that you have while letting Codex handle additional tasks in the background. Let's briefly look at what is happening while these tasks are actually running. As you can see, the agent has cloned the repository and is now navigating the code base using traditional Unix commands and reasoning along the way. If you're just getting started with Codex, this setup should be already taking you far on your day-to-day development. Stop here and have fun asking questions and getting PRs. But when you want to improve outputs by giving Codex more context and tools, let's take a look at how that works. To show you, I have this actual GitHub issue that needs to be fixed. This issue seems pretty well documented already, but one thing I want to make sure when I hand this off to Codex is that it can actually create fixes for the issue and validate that it's working based on creating new tests. Codex seems to have already understood my code base pretty well, but to make sure that it understands how it can run individual tests, I have to give it a bit more context about the project. In this case, I already created an agents.md file that Codex is trained to know to look up for additional instructions, and that describes how it can run additional commands. We still need to make sure that Codex has the necessary tools, though, to run the tests by configuring our environment further, as any environment is air-gapped from the internet after setup time. We'll make sure that our environment in this case has UV already installed and then run make sync to install our dependencies. Okay, this setup should be fine now. So let's add it to the environment. And with that done, we can kick off one more task. In my repository, this task might take 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to go and grab some lunch and come back when this is done. Okay, cool. Looks like Codex is done. Let's take a look at our issue. You can see Codex created a diff of the necessary code, but it also provided a valuable description of what has actually changed and how Codex tried to validate the behavior, both showing using inline references and citations to the respective code that was handled. This looks pretty good to me, so let me open a PR for my team to review. These are just some of the examples of what you can do with Codex. We built Codex to help developers like yourself with your day-to-day tasks so you can focus on doing the things you actually care about. This is just the beginning of Codex, though, and we hope you find it as helpful as we have. But let us know how you're using Codex and how we can make it better.